if the Qur'an is a book of the guidance, and the Islam is a religion of the knowledge and all this, then why we are Muslim as a nation, as a majority, we are standing in the back among the nations? Why, when we compare our nation with the other nations, we see a big hole between us and them?
The brother asked a very good question, very important question, very relevant question. That if Qur'an has so much of information regarding science, technology, it's a book of knowledge, book of guidance, then why are we Muslims backward? It's a very good question. The reason is, if we look back into the history, from the 8th to the 10th century, we read in the historical books, the Europeans, they called it as the Dark Ages. Dark for whom? Dark for the Europeans. The Arabs, the advancement they made in science and technology was phenomenal. If you had to know about science, if you want to do research of science, you had to learn Arabic. Like how today we learn English. At that time, the Muslims were on top of the world because we were close to Qur'an and Sunnah. Today, the reason the Muslims are backward is because we are far away from Qur'an and Sunnah. So Qur'an is not to blame, you and I are to blame. If you read in the books of history and books of science, I said in my lecture, Ibn Nafis. Ibn Nafis, 600 years after the Quran was revealed, was the first to describe the blood circulation. In a textbook, we know about William Harvey, we don't know about Ibn Nafis. So two reasons. Number one, Muslims have gone away from Quran Sunnah. Number two, media. You know, media also plays a big role in it. In our textbook, in my school, I never heard about Ibn Nafis. After when I did research, I came to know. In my textbook was mentioned William Harvey. The first person who drew the world map of the world was Al-Idrusi. In 1154, he was a Muslim. Do you know the numbers that we have? 1, 2, 3, 4. What's it called? What's it called, 1, 2, 3, 4? What is it called? Say loudly. Arabic numerals. How we have Roman numerals? 1, 2. Arabic numeral, why? Because 0 was first introduced by the Indian, the Arabs took it up, put a decimal point, and we have the Arabic numerals. If you know about Al-Abtusi, he was the one who discovered the Pythagoras theorem, which we learn in school. We learn Pythagoras theorem, we don't know the name of Abtusi. The square of the hypotenuse is equal in a triangle. The square of the hypotenuse is equal to the sum of the other two sides of the triangle. Do you remember or you've forgotten? You remember, na? MashaAllah, good student. Who was the person who discovered it? Now you came to know, correct? Better late than never. Al-Abtusi, Muslim. Trigonometry, we learn trigonometry. Who is the main person of trigonometry? Al-Biruni. We learn chemistry. Who's the father of chemistry? We know. Geber. It's not Geber, it is Jabir ibn Hayyan. They want to, change the name, westernize it. Geber. So Geber looks like a westerner. Sounds like a westerner, correct? It is Jabir ibn Hayyan. He is the father of chemistry, wrote more than 200 pages, 2000 pages. He was the first who distilled alcohol. Alcohol comes from the Arabic word al-gul. Alcohol is Arabic, al-gul meaning evil spirit. He distilled it. How many people know about Al-Kindi? At the time when Newton, who's the biggest scientist in the world history, Newton said all laws are absolute. Al-Kindi said no, all laws are not absolute, they are relative. Later on, Albert Einstein came. All have heard about Einstein. How many of us have heard about Al-Kindi? The two brothers, Muhammad Ahmad and Hassan Shakir, they told the area of the earth from an angle at the Red Sea. At a time when we didn't even sure whether the earth was spherical or not. At that time they told the area of the earth which was quite accurate. If you read about Ali ibn Abbas, He wrote 2,000 pages on medicine. If you know about Ali ibn Sina, Avicenna sounds like a Westerner name. It's Ali ibn Sina, Aristotle of the East. You can keep on giving examples. Muslims were on top of the world because we were close to Qur'an and Sunnah. Today, we are far away from the Qur'an and Sunnah. That time, if you wanted to get advanced in science and technology, it was compulsory you learnt Arabic. Arabic was the language on top of the world. Today, where is it? Who's to blame? We are to blame. So my request to all the Muslim brothers and sisters, you go back to the Quran. Study the Quran. Quran is the most positive book in the world. It's a proclamation to humanity. It's a fountain of mercy and wisdom. It's a warning to the heedless. It's a guide to the erring. It's an assurance to those in doubt. It's a solace to the suffering and a hope to those in despair. You can get all these benefits only if you read the Quran with understanding. If you don't know Arabic, read the translation of the Quran in the language you understand the best. Implement it, inshallah, it will be a guidance for you for your full life and you'll see your life change. Hope that answers the question.
What does the Quran or Islam says about killing for mercy? I'll give you an example. For example, someone is in a very deep or long coma. So can we end the person's life? Number two, what if we have like a sick cat who is really, really sick and we pity the cat. We pity it. So can we end the cat's life? I'm just asking a question. I'm not going to do it.
The brother is talking about euthanasia. The English word, what is euthanasia? It's not killing for mercy. The right word is euthanasia. That means if a person is sick and if the doctors say that there is no chance that he can improve and he's like a vegetable, he can continue living by putting on apparatus, life-saving apparatus. So is it permitted in Islam that you can end the life of such a patient? And then it will come to the animal. But first we'll talk about the human being, then we'll come to the animals. As far as euthanasia is concerned, there are two types of euthanasia. One is active and one is passive. In the active euthanasia, if the patient is suffering from certain diseases which the doctors say cannot be cured and he'll be like a vegetable, in active euthanasia, you inject a drug and then you put the patient to death. In passive euthanasia, if the patient is on life-saving apparatus, and if you remove the apparatus, and if he dies, that's called as passive euthanasia. As far as active euthanasia is concerned, injecting a drug to kill a human being, that is prohibited in Islam. It's haram. It's not permitted. Because you cannot take life of any human being. It's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who cures and gives life. As far as passive euthanasia is concerned, where a patient is on life-saving apparatus, like fibrillators or ventilators, and the doctor says that there's no chance he can improve, he's like a vegetable. And those machines are very expensive. Every day you may be paying thousands of ringgit. In this case, if the person cannot afford, and the doctor says there's no chance of improvement, for you to remove the apparatus because you cannot afford it, that is permissible. Killing actively is prohibited, but passive euthanasia, where you remove the life-saving apparatus because the doctors have said there's no chance of his survival, so passive euthanasia not has to be done, can be done. If you feel they don't have the money, you cannot continue with those bills, and it's no longer going to survive. So when you do passive euthanasia, the patient may die after a few hours, may die after a few days, maybe possible he may not die also. Because doctors, what they say is always not correct. So in passive euthanasia, because you have tested for many weeks and months and doctors have given up hope, you can remove the apparatus. If you can't afford it, that is permitted. Hope that answers the question.
The cat?
Cat is same thing.
Same thing, okay.
If you can afford for the cat, you want to put. Nowadays people spend more on the cat than the human beings.
Yes. Thank you.
You're most welcome.
Why Allah, our God, not show itself like another region got. Like she's got, she is Chinese. She know the physical of their gods, and she's know about the power of their gods. So why Allah not show itself? Thank you.
Brother asked a question that one of his non-Muslim friends, she asked him the question that why doesn't Allah, the God in Islam, show himself? Like in other religions, they can see God. Why don't you? Why can't we see the God of Allah in Islam? The reason is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Islam is the true Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If He shows Himself, you will not be able to live. He's so powerful. And the example we have in the Qur'an in Surah Taha, when Musa alayhi salam says, "Oh Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I want to see you." So Allah says, "I will show my glimpse to the mountain." You look what happens to the mountain. So when Musa alayhi salam turns his head to the mountain, Allah shows his glimpse to the mountain and Musa alayhi salam faints. That is the power of Allah. It's so powerful that we human beings in this stage, we cannot see Him. And the definition of Allah is given in Surah Ikhlas, chapter number 112, verse number 1 to 4, which says, "Qul huwallahu ahad." Says Allah one and only, Allahu samad, Allah the absolute eternal. Lam yalid wa lam yulad, He begets not nor is He begotten. Wa lam yakul lahu kufuwan ahad. There's nothing like Him in this world. The moment you can compare God to anything in this world, He's not God. So any other religious people say this is God. The moment you can compare God to anything in this world, He is not a true God. This is a 4-line definition of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, of Almighty God. Any human being, whichever God he or she worships, if that God fulfills this 4-line definition, we agree that entity to be true God. Otherwise, it's not a true God. Says Allah one and only, Allah the absolute eternal, He begets not nor is begotten, walam yakul lahu kufuwan ahad. And let me ask you a question. Which is the highest reward that you can think you can get, brother? Where's the questioner? Where's the questioner gone? Can you stand, brother? Yes, correct, yes. I'm right. I'm right. Brother, which is the highest reward you can get? Highest reward that a Muslim can get? Jannah. Right? Is there anything higher than Jannah? No. Yes? Someone said yes? Yes? Is there anything higher than Jannah?
I think there's hadith that.
Just tell the answer. No. Is there anything higher than Jannah?
Yes.
So tell. What is it?
Seeing Allah, the Jannah.
Higher than Jannah is Jannat al-Firdaus. Higher than Jannat al-Firdaus is Jannat al-Firdaus al-Ala. And the highest is seeing the face of Allah, the wajh of Allah. We as human beings cannot see the wajh, the face of Allah in this form. But when we go to Jannah, everyone in Jannah will not see the face of Allah. Only those who are in Jannat al-Firdaus or Jannat al-Firdaus al-Ala, close to the Prophet, Allah will not show His face always. We would urge, we would desire to see His face. So the highest reward that any Muslim or any human being can get, Jannah is a high reward but not the highest. Jannat al-Firdaus is high but not highest. It is seeing the face of Allah, the wajh of Allah. So tell your non-Muslim friend that if they follow the criteria of Surah Al-Asr, have Iman, have righteous deed, exhort people to truth, exhort people to perseverance, she will go to Jannah inshallah. But she has to follow the rules of the Qur'an. And if she goes to Qur'an, if she goes at the higher level of Jannah, if she enters, she'll be able to see the face of Jannah. Will be able to see the face of Allah. Every human being will not see, only those who receive the highest award in the next life, in the hereafter. Hope that answers the question, brother.